Let's talk about the United States Food and Drug Administration's over-the-counter hearing aid timeline. In today's video, we're going to talk about the timeline of the FDA's approval for over-the-counter hearing aids for adults with mild to moderate losses in the United States. My name is Emily. I have a moderate to severe hearing loss and I wear traditional hearing aids to aid my hearing loss. The over-the-counter hearing aid ruling by the FDA was a big deal because it's allowing more hearing devices to come on the market at typically a lower cost for consumers. The timeline of the over-the-counter hearing aid ruling from the FDA really starts August 18th, 2017. It was this day in 2017 that the FDA Reauthorization Act was signed by the US President Donald Trump at the time. This specific Reauthorization Act directed the FDA to look into and create criteria for over-the-counter hearing devices for adults with mild to moderate hearing losses. This direction or approval from the United States President was a big deal because it essentially opened the door to having more hearing devices available for adults with hearing loss in the United States. And ideally, these devices would be available at a lower cost than traditional hearing aids. So following that direction in 2018, the FDA held essentially a forum where they sought feedback from a wide variety of people, key stakeholders. So consumers, people actually buying the product, medical experts like audiologists, people who recommend traditional hearing aids to many individuals. They also sought feedback from other industry representatives, so the hearing aid companies themselves probably. The goal of this collaborative effort was to really identify what are the key barriers to helping people receive hearing devices now, and how can we overcome those while maintaining a high standard of care. So imagine all these different people talking, collaborating, and sharing their opinions. The FDA gathered all this feedback, and in 2019, they actually issued a proposed ruling. So they said, thank you for your feedback. Based on this, here's what we are recommending as kind of the first draft of our ruling. What do you think? And they sought feedback again from these industry participants, whether it was the consumers, the audiologists prescribing traditional hearing aids, the hearing aid companies themselves, etc. I will say that this proposal released in 2019 also outlined what was expected from future over-the-counter hearing aid companies in terms of labeling, manufacturing standards, and requirements for user safety instructions to ensure that the devices had some sort of standard to measure up against to make sure that end users were protected when using these hearing devices. In 2020, the FDA had an open comment period where people could give their feedback on these ruling outlines. They could say, this works because of this doesn't work because of this, and really share their expertise. I think it's impressive that since 2017, the FDA really went back and forth trying to figure out what people thought about the devices and how they could create a ruling or criteria that would be most beneficial for end users in the long run. Now, fast forward another year from 2020 to October 20th, 21, and the FDA again released their new proposed ruling, saying essentially this is the next draft of the OTC ruling. What does everyone think about it? And they sought that feedback. And fast forward to 2022, October 17th, 2022 to be exact, the FDA released their over-the-counter hearing aid ruling. This included the over-the-counter hearing aid device criteria that devices needed to meet in order to be FDA approved over-the-counter hearing aid devices for adults with mild to moderate hearing losses in the United States. I want to mention that this is a category that's completely separate from prescription hearing aids. This is separate from those that you receive from the audiologist. This final draft of the OTC hearing aid ruling included stringent safety standards, efficacy standards, manufacturing standards, labeling requirements, and requirements for post-consumer follow-up to ensure the devices were actually running as they should. I have another video about the FDA OTC hearing aid requirements and what criteria OTC hearing aid devices need to meet in order to be FDA approved. I'll include the link to that video in the description below. So what do you think about this timeline? It took quite a while. That's 5 years to really assess and vet and offer a viable solution so that these over-the-counter hearing aids could be available to consumers at large. If you have any thoughts about the OTC hearing aid market, I would love to hear them in the comments below. I hope that this timeline was insightful for you. I found it really insightful that the FDA definitely sought opinions and facts from users and experts alike. This timeline showed me that the FDA really cared about making devices widely available, yet still safe for end consumers to use. I'm sure you got something out of this video. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to making more great hearing loss related content for you. Stay strong, stay amazing, and have a great day.